So, approaching the situation, I literally just have to take it and be very mindful of everything I'm about to say in this video. I might even mute the comments, but like my mind, my emotions are all over the place, like my fellow black sisters, my fellow black brothers. Like, okay, I'm gonna start here. I had looked at a lot of white influential figures such as Ellen and the other Ellens out there, and I watched her Instagram video about racial injustice, and it was a 2-minute video, 2 minutes and some seconds, and she was just basically saying that, you know, she doesn't know what to say. She doesn't know what to say. She's so sorry. She's so angry, you know, and that was pretty much it. And then her comments were like, you couldn't have said it better, Ellen. Said what? The thing is, as black people, we're tired of saying it. We've been saying it for years. We've been saying it for years. It's not rocket science to figure out what to say, how to make the community come together, how to use your platform to evoke change. If I had the amount of people looking up to me like Ellen has looking up to her and all these other, you know, influential people, I would say something like, educate your kids at home. It starts at home. How you are raised, how you're raising others to view others. It starts at home. I'm a mother. I have a black son and a black daughter. Yes, my kids are biracial, but at the same time, they are black. And I fear for my kids. I fear for myself. And I've been putting this video off because this is a very touchy topic for a lot of black people, and it's hard to watch, it's hard to talk about, it's hard to put yourself out there and be judged based off of the words you're gonna say, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it has to be said. We have to be heard. Today is Tuesday, the Blackout Tuesday, and it's going all over Instagram, and I appreciate the other races who have been coming together and standing by us and acknowledging what we're going through. But at the same time, you have to put yourselves in our situations. How many of you other races fear for your kids going to school? The schools my kids go to are predominantly white because of the area we live in, and when they get invitations to birthday parties and, oh, you can drop your kid off, this is going to be a swim party, it's going to be a birthday party at the park or whatever, we never attend. My kids will never attend until they're older, because if I drop them off for a birthday party, I don't know how my kids are going to be perceived. I don't know how, if they're going to be included. I don't know if they're going to get ice cream and cake. I don't know if they're going to be included with the other kids because of how much we're divided as a society. Even taking a jog like Ahmad, I'm trying to get my body healthy. I'm trying to get myself healthy, and I fear to even go on a run. I fear to take my kids to the park. I fear to drive with my kids in the car because I'm afraid to get pulled over and something happens to me and they have to witness it. It's beyond our control. As black people are tired. We need bigger change regardless. If the government can go out and fight for other countries and fight for their freedom against, you know, they're bombing each other out there in Iraq and those countries out there. Why can't they fight for us? They're fighting against us. Do you guys see that? Do you guys understand that? They're fighting against the protesters. They're sending the army and the military out there to fight against us. For what? All we want is peace and equality. That's all we've ever wanted. And I seen someone post on Instagram about you should be happy that, you know, that you were born black, and it should make you stronger. You know, you're chosen for a reason. For what? For what? Chosen for what reason? To be murdered? To be banished? To be looked down to be afraid of? If you guys, newsflash, okay, newsflash. When God created us, he didn't create us to be divided. He didn't create one race to only be targeted. Yes, I see. All lives matter, blah, blah, blah. But all lives are not being targeted. All lives are not being targeted. We're criminals. We're thugs. We're thieves. Because of the shade of our skin. But yeah, it's okay to go get tans. And it's okay to bake into the sun until you're brown. That's okay. Right? You want the shades of brown. You want the shades of melanin. But yet when melanin speaks up, it's a problem. I posted on my Instagram yesterday that, you know, it's important to be the light in these situations, which I stand by 100%. I am a firm believer on approaching the situation with love, with kindness, with everybody in mind. Everyone to feel included. But at the same time, who's fighting for us? Really? It had to come to this, to riots, to freaking buildings being blown up, neighborhoods being set on fire, just to be acknowledged as a part of society. I'm not in the riots, no. I'm not going out there protesting, no, because I'm a mother and I have children and I don't know what will happen to me out there. That's the only reason why. However, I do feel like it's very important that we exercise our voices, that we educate ourselves. Knowledge is power. And for me, even bringing up Ellen earlier, she is a respected public figure to most. And I feel like when she posted her video, she should have said, educate yourselves, people. Educate yourselves, white people. And truly try to understand what black people are facing today, what we faced for many of years. And please try to understand where they're coming from. People are so quick to speak, but they don't want to listen. They just see the anger. They just see the riots. They just see the destruction, but they're not listening. Because if they would listen, they would understand we're hurting as a people. We're hurting as a race. A blind man can see that. And I don't know why it's come to the fact that almost every other week we are getting news of another black person being killed unarmed, harmless, with no criminal background. And we're getting numb to it. But we shouldn't get comfortable hearing that news. Every time someone is murdered, we should speak up. We've been speaking up as a Black community. And if we're not speaking up, we need to speak louder. And until there's change, there's going to be more. It's going to be more riots. It's going to be more protests. It's going to be worse than before. I know a lot of influencers. I was watching Desi Perkins on Instagram yesterday, and she was saying how, you know, she just wants to be educated, and she's so grateful for the fact that people can DM her and educate her on what she doesn't know, because she doesn't live it, so she doesn't know. And that's the reality for a lot of people out there. They don't live it, so they don't know. They don't understand why we're so passionate. They don't understand why we're hurting. They don't understand why we're so angry. I have a brother. I have two brothers, actually. But my youngest brother, he is 19 and he wants to be a pastor. He's driving, and I fear for him. I fear every time he's out in his car. Because if he gets pulled over, the police won't ask anything that matters. They will just racially profile him and pull him over. And who knows, that's the last day I can ever see him. That's the last point. Is they judge us, as we all know, based off of the color of our skin. But they don't know that 19-year-old wants to be a pastor. They don't know that 19-year-old wants to make a change, a positive change in the world. They don't know that my 5-year-old wants to be a police officer when he grows up. If he even gets the chance to see that. They don't give us a chance. They don't care. And about 2 years ago, I was actually training to be a correctional officer. And I was the only Black woman in that room when I took the test. I passed the test. But I decided that that wasn't the route God wanted me to take. And especially now, I'm really grateful I didn't take that route. Because I wanted to be a positive change in this world. I wanted to uplift inmates. I wanted to be someone that they could trust while protecting and serving. I'm sure it's easy to just turn your head the other way and think of it as not being your problem. It's not my problem. Why do I care? It's all of our problem. It's all of our problem if you want to see change. Yesterday I was at Safeway, and there was one Black man who worked there, and he was gathering up the carts, and outside in the heat there was another one working as the clerk, checking people out and ringing up groceries. And there was this lady in front of me, and she was a white woman, and they were having a conversation, and she was like, oh yeah, you do what I do, you know, I work at X, Y, and Z, and you know, I do the same thing. Are you almost about to be off? And she was just being very gentle with him, talking to him like a human being, acknowledging they do the same job. And she left, and you know, him and I were conversing, and before I left, I said to him, be strong out here, okay? Like, be safe, be strong. It takes a lot to put yourself in a situation where like, I know it takes a lot for him to put himself in that position every single day, to show up to work every single day and ring up groceries like nothing is going on, to serve and be of service and act as if everything is okay. And I just had to leave him with that. I just had to leave him with, be safe out here, okay? Take care of yourself. You know, and he just looked me in the eye and he was like, you too, sis, like you too. And the guy that was gathering up the carts outside, before I left, I walked past him, I said, you be safe out here, okay? And he was like, okay, you too. So when you see your brothers and sisters out there, just give them a word of encouragement. We have to stick together regardless. Give them something to look forward to. Give them some. We have to come together as a people, just in general. Knowing how hard it must be getting out there and ringing up groceries and smiling and making small talk, although you're angry, although you want to be out there with the protesters, although you want to just tell somebody, please just listen to us. But yet you're out there ringing groceries, serving, making small talk, knowing damn well you're hurting miserably, especially being a black man. I'm a black woman, and our men get it the worst. We get our fair share as well, being women, but the men by far have it harder in the workplace. Walking your dog down the street, just being accepted for the way we wear our hair. We're constantly being judged, being afraid of. For what? Like the woman said, you do what I do. Well, guess what? We're just like you, with a different shade. And no one should have to sit here and make a video on the racial injustice of America that one race is going through on a frequent basis. We are just like everybody else. We are born with a different shade of skin. Why does that even matter to anybody? Don't you guys like diversity? Don't you guys like seeing different races come together and congregate? And I appreciate the races who have been coming together on riots and who have been speaking up and using their platform. But you never really know until you live it. There is a couple an elderly couple, I was walking in Target and I have my sunglasses on, minding my business, and I'm just like walking straight, and there was plenty enough room for them to walk past. They just completely like took the other route and just looked very uncomfortable. For what? I smiled, no smile back. Okay. There's much more I could say. I'm gonna just leave that there. I just really hope that you guys can understand where I'm coming from, where the black community is coming from. Because if you guys can't tell, we're tired. We're tired of speaking up and using our voice. And we're not the issue. We're being wronged. So why do we have to speak up for us? Why can't our fellow brother or sister who are of a different race speak up for us if they see there's a problem? You can't just remain quiet and hope it'll go away. Because this is our life. This is our reality. We're living it. You don't understand and you don't live it because you're not a black person if you are watching this. You don't have if you do or if you don't. There's many of you who don't have black children. There's many of you who do not have a black father, a black brother, brothers and sisters that you fear for lives on a daily basis. I do. I do. And I just hope that you guys can see the pain, see the light in this video. Understand where we're coming from as a people. Understand we mean no harm. We just want to be equal. We just want to be equal. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I hope you guys stay safe. Pray over your kids. Hold them tight and teach them well while they're home, while they're young. So they know how to behave, so they know how to love each other, how to not see color, but see the heart of people. And educate yourselves. If you don't know, what you don't know will hurt you. Knowledge is power. Like, you educate yourself to start a business, you educate yourself on starting a new job, you get to know the rules and the regulations, how things work. Do the same thing for those constantly getting murdered. Educate yourselves on what you can do to make a difference. That's all we ask. We ask that you give us the same respect you give your fellow race. We ask that we're not judged. We ask that we are loved and protected and taken care of. We ask for change. And there's going to be no change if no one speaks up. Sign petitions. Find out what you can do to collectively help the community, the Black community as a whole. Reposting on Instagram, on Facebook, on social media doesn't give you a pass to just proceed and move on in life. Sign petitions. Use your voice. Use your privilege. Because we've never been given that. You guys have something we don't have, which is privilege. We don't have the same opportunities. We don't have the same safety and security. No one's protecting us but our kind. My boyfriend was driving the other day and there was a cop right next to him. They're at a red light. And they both witnessed a car running the red light. And the police officer just sat there at the red light. He looked at my boyfriend looked at him, and my boyfriend's like, what are we gonna do about that car? And the cop was just like. So that just told me, like, reassured me, reiterated the fact that they pick and choose their battles. They pick and choose who's the bad guy and who's not the bad guy. They pick and choose when they want to use the law and when they don't want to use the law. So, you mothers, I know my audience is very diverse. And you mothers out there, I encourage you to teach your children. Read them books. Not just saying read them like African American history. Read them books that show diversity. That show love. That speaks of love for different races, different cultures. You know, bring awareness to them while they're young. Put them in activities that force them to interact, to engage, evolve, get to know, get familiar with. I know hiding them out in private schools and putting them in nothing but the best, doing what's best for your child. I'm a firm advocate in doing what's best for your child, but I'm also a firm advocate in teaching your child. The history that they teach in school is very watered down. And I don't recall talking about Black history in school, growing up in high school. Maybe a chapter, you know, but not enough to get to really know the truth, get to really know, and they're not going to teach it. So I encourage you guys to, there's YouTube videos on Martin Luther King and the march and his speech, and it's in a cartoon form. My son watched it. He understood it. He's 5. He understood it. He asks questions. We need to have these uncomfortable conversations to make change. And even if you don't know what to say to your kids, even if you don't know how to properly raise them, Google it like you Google everything else. We use the internet for things that matter to us. So use the internet for things that matter to other people. How can you be a change? How can you make a difference? But yeah, guys, I just wanted to come on here and use my voice, use my platform, because I know I have a diverse audience of different races, of different shades, and we love all of you guys. I love all of you guys. And I'm just asking that you love us too, that you love us back. I'm asking that you understand the fact that there is wrongdoings and they need to stop put to them. So if you're in a grocery store, if you are at the park, if you are anywhere out and about and you see Black people out there working, smiling in these times, I ask that you just show compassion. I ask that you show love, however that means to you. I ask that you are mindful on what we're going through, because they have to feed their families. They're out there surviving so they can feed their families, so they can survive. So I ask that you not acknowledge that, and that you are just more understanding to the community and treat others how you want to be treated. That's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.